is groups. So generally, if we discuss in our general terminology, what is group actually? Group is more than two people or two people working for a common goal together in one particular place or particular situation. So such we can define the group as this. Like group is few people working for a common task or common goal to achieve or accomplish something. So if we go into the topic, we have nature of groups, and then characteristics, reasons for group formation, and then functions of the group and types of the group. So we have concepts, roles, status, norms, cohesiveness. All these things will be there in the chapter. So let us go into the topic. So people, suppose if we discuss about a little more about the topic, people in a bus or maybe in a function are who are suppose if we take the bus, they are traveling all together, a group of people are traveling in a bus, we can say. Or if in a function, a group of people attending a function. So or if it is in an organization, then we say that people who are doing so and so project, a group of people, or team, sometimes it is named as team. So according to Marvin Shaw, a group of are two or more than two people who are interacting with one another in such a manner that each person influences and is influenced by each other in that group. So according to Marvin Shaw, it is group of people or a team of people more than two, we can say two or more than two, who are interacting and they are influencing each other. So such we can call it as group. There are two key elements in this definition, that it is the first is interaction among the group members, and then for example, co-workers may work side by side on a related task, but if they do not interact with each other, they are not a group in the organization sense. If the people who are working in a group, but if they don't interact, then it is not considered as group according to organization. Then a group is defined as two or more than two interacting and interdependent individuals who have come together to achieve particular objectives. In particularly organizational. If any organization is going with some work, then they can be called as group of people who are doing so and so project or so and so task, we can say. A group consists of two or more with common goals, or even they may share the interest also, common interest also. Sometimes we have formal and informal groups. Like informal groups may form in the organization based on their interest. Like some people, they may be interested in playing games, or maybe just simple sitting and chit chatting about same one topic, who are interested in the same topic, they will be talking to each other. So this is about the small introduction about the group. And if we come to the nature of the group, then an individual will be unable to perform all the required activities, and group formation is inevitable to achieve organizational objectives. For example, if one person is going to do any task, means a single head or any one person, if we want to do any task, then he may not achieve the target in prescribed time, or maybe his single ideas may not be fruitful. So in that case, group formation is inevitable, we say. Like if we form a group, then the work will be more fruitful or more productive. That is the reason why group is inevitable in the organization, we can say. And then group may be therefore be formed and accepted by an organization. Group dynamics is essentially used to increase the productivity and profitability of an organization, and group behavior is different from individual behavior. If we observe the individual behavior and group behavior, definitely there will be difference in the behavior of the individual. When he is single at work or task, then his behavior will be different, and when he is in the group, definitely it will be difference will be there in that. Group formation has certain objectives. The purpose behind group formation may be task achievement, problem solving, proximity, or other socio-psychological requirements also may be there in forming the group. Behind formation of the group, there may be these all reasons. Maybe problem solving will be there. Maybe some task achievement will be there. Proximity may be there. So there are many reasons behind the formation of the group. And characteristics. If we discuss the characteristics of the group, Sharif and Sharif, according to this person, the groups are constituted to provide individuals with mutual support and to give them a personal worth. People who form the group, they will be supported by the other individuals who are in the group, and they will be the personal worth will be provided for the person by giving certain positions in the group. So Sharif and Sharif has mentioned the following characteristics of small and informal groups. There are, as I said, that informal groups will be there in the organization, and formal groups also will be there in the organization. So common motivation and group goal. According to the informal groups, there are certain characteristics. Among them, the common motivation and group goal. Thus, a group is born out of the interaction between common motives and individuals. Common motivation lies at the root of formation of any group. Common motivation it is a root for formation of any of the group. The individual or the group of people, their common motive will be the root cause for the formation of the group. And motivation works as a cohesive and binding force for the team members. Motivation or the goal for which the group has started will work as a cohesive or the binding force in the group people. All the people, they may not have, individually they may not have the same thought process, but when they join together to work as a group, then they start believing each other's ideas, and then they start agreeing with each other's ideology. And as it is for common goal, they will be adjusting, we can say there will be a little adjustment. And we see the performance of the person when it is individual, definitely it will be lower. It is researchers have been told this, that the person, if he is working individually, then his performance will be less or lower when it is compared with the when he is working in the group. But here there is one small obligation again. Like if the person is familiar with the task or the work what has been provided to him, then he may excel. Or if the person is not familiar with the task what is provided to him, then he may show his performance low, or we can say it will be nil also sometimes. So it depends on the situation, how whether the worker is already exposed to the work or not. So sociogenetic needs are varied in a human being and also vary from culture to culture, society to society, and class to class. So there are many differences in human beings. As I said, before formation of the group, they will have their personal experience, their cultural background, and their economic background. All these things will be influencing the individual person when he is working. But when it comes to the group formation, obviously on the group also the person's influence will be there. But when it comes to the particularly one goal of the group formation, then definitely they will put all the things aside and they start working on the particular one objective, and they start compromising, we can say compromise, they may compromise also, we can say. So and among the characteristics of Sharif and Sharif, the group formation, group characteristics, common motivation is the first one, and the next is social interaction. When the people are in the society, are in the group, interaction is a process which involves the reactions of two or more person uh, to each other, and it is different from action which is only one way process. Intercommunication of some members will with some common motives or goals give rise to the formation of a group. Members of a group interact with each other and influence each other. So when they come and form one group, social interaction means the group of people will talk with each other, and definitely they will influence each other. And feeling of oneness, when they are combined or formed one group, they start feeling that they are one. They are together. And out groups, like for example, the people who are working for some other goal beside them, there is one more group, they start feeling that they are the out group. And the persons inside who are working for the common goal in one group, they are in group, or we feeling will generate. So role of a leader in the group, definitely there should be one center for all these motives and for all the individuals who can interact with one person in common, and the goal can be discussed, and certain rules and regulations can be paved for the achieving of the objective, we can say. So real role of the leader is very important in any group. So one should be there to guide the full group, who is having the maximum information with him, and then he should have a strong quality of leading the group. So the leader influence will be there definitely on the group formation. And coming to the reasons, what are the reasons actually why there is a need, or what is the reason behind the formation of the group? Here we have proximity, interaction, and influence. One of the most common reasons why group joins or the group forms is because they work near each other. Informal groups seem to form among those who are in close proximity. Those who are with a similar proximity or close proximity, they will form the informal groups. As I said, that people with sports interest, or people with some same topic chit-chatting interest, or maybe when they meet in the canteen, they start forming a one group. Similar mentality people will form one group, and which are having who are having different thought process, they will be separated from that group, and they may form another group. Like this, informal, many number of groups may form in any organization, but when it comes to the organization particularly, the reason for formation of the group will be everybody knows that why the organization is working, what is the main motto of the organization. So every time whenever they handle one project or they take up one project, the certain group of people who are capable of doing that task, whatever has been hired, whatever has been taken up for that task, who are eligible, who are capable, they will be selected, and then they are formed as one group, and then they will be given certain time, and certain duration will be given for the people to complete it. And then security. Security is also one more reason for the formation of the group. Probably the strongest reason to join the group is need for security. By joining a group, we can reduce our insecurity. Here in the society or in the organization, person will feel insecure when he is alone, or his thought process, whether he want to confirm whether the people are there around him who are having the same thought process, or who are having the same type of problems, or who are having the same type of ideology. So he will be insecure with that thought process. When he joins a group, then he will be feeling a little secured that yes, there are certain people who can who are there along with me with the same thought process what I am having. So it creates, the group gives a security feeling for the individuals. And next, affiliation. People join the groups because it provides them an opportunity to have regular company with those with whom they share something common. That is the same. Again, affiliation means same type of interest who are having. Uh, they will get an opportunity to share their thoughts and all. And then power. Membership of groups offer power to the members in at least two ways. First, there are sayings such as united we stand and divide we fall. In group, generally, whenever they are in a group, they feel that they are more powerful. And when they are individual, they may feel powerless or a little lower they may feel. So for that reason also groups will be formed. And esteem, an individual can increase his self-esteem through group membership. He can increase his self-esteem by the participation in the group. And task functions, groups are formed to perform task function like generating new ideas, coordination of several groups, teaching methods to new corners, and facilitate the implementation of complex decision, a complex task which cannot be performed individually. Group, there being group, there can be many flexibilities we can say. So individually, some things cannot be performed. And coming to the functions of the group. So what are the functions? What are the main functions of the group? Satisfaction of needs. The first thing is satisfaction of needs. Every individual will have their own needs and their own circumstances, which has to be satisfied by that particular individual. So satisfaction of needs of individual members is supposed to be the most essential features of the function of a group. People join different groups and societies for satisfaction of different needs. For example, people join photographic society, music association, health clubs, and dance clubs, psychological or economic society according to their respective interest. So based on their interest and based on their needs, people will be joining different groups. As we said, health clubs. Many people who are very health conscious, they will be joining the health clubs. And who are very jolly mood people are, who want to enjoy the life, they may join the music clubs, dance clubs, and all. So all such things are the one of the one of the motive we can say. By formation of the group, they will fulfill that motive. And the loyalty of the members, the group loyalty will depend upon the extent to which the group satisfies the vital needs of the individual members. If the needs are satisfied, then the person will be loyal to the group. Otherwise he may prove um, he may not be proved loyal. So smooth group functioning is closely interrelated with such membership, uh, with such loyalty. Group functioning will go smoothly when all the members are loyal to the group. And belief for the group, just as people have common needs in a group, a common belief also serves as uniting the different members of the group. Different people of different thought process, they are coming and joining in one group, so they will have one common belief so that they can join that group. So thus Tresselt and Walkman have pointed out each person in a group says what he does not, only because he has been persuaded by argument, induced by reward, compelled by pressure, guided by his own past beliefs, or influenced by the voiced opinion of other people, of social and non-social stimulation. And this range has determined his scale of judgment. So based on all these points, his opinion, his judgment, and everything, based on all these things, the belief of the group will be there. And now coming to the types of groups. What are the types of groups? As I said earlier, formal and informal groups we will have. Formal groups will have the commands. Like group consists of individuals who report directly to the manager. Directly from the manager, the group will be getting the rules and regulations or commands for the task accomplishment. So formal groups will be generally in the organizations who has to do some projects and all. And interest group. It is a group formed by individuals working together to achieve a specific objective. For example, a group of workers working on a project and reporting to the same manager is considered as a command group. A group of friends chilling out together is considered as interest group. The same group, sometimes they'll be chilling out, just taking a relaxation in between the work. Such groups we call them as interest groups. And who work for some task will be command groups. And now, in the formal group, the role and status of every member is defined, like the role of the president, prime minister, etc. How they are defined, like that, secretary, president, and all these will be defined roles will be there in any group. And when it comes to informal groups, these are formed by friendships and common interest. Task group, those working together to finish a job or task, is known as task group. And friendship group, those who come together because of their shared interest or common characteristics, is known as friendship group. So we say that these two types, formal and informal. Formal will be related to the organization, and informal will be related to the just friendship or chilling out people together. When they are hanging out together, then that type of group can be called as informal group or interest group, we can say. And now coming to the other type of groups, we have primary and secondary groups, in groups, out groups, autocratic, democratic, all such different groups we have. Family generally will be considered as a primary group. And if we take one particular individual, the first group for the individual will be his family itself. Like he will be hanging out with the family, the child, when he take the birth, he will be moving only around the family, and he will be very well known by the family, or he will be nurtured. Actually, the child will be nurtured, so his first primary group can be considered as family. And when he goes to school, then it is his secondary group, like school teachers and peer group or play group, whatever, wherever the outside environment when he goes. So all such people, for this individual, for that child, will be the secondary group. And once a group has been structured and formed with definite norms and goals, a sense of belongingness and we feelings, the formation in groups and out groups is individualized. Anybody who goes against the groups is generally called as out group. And who is willing to, or who is following the rules and regulations, or who is traveling along with the goals of the goals of the group, then he is called as in group. And autocratic and democratic, if we go, we know the authoritarian or dictatorship. A group coming under the star pattern. Yeah. Here we have certain patterns of groups that we will discuss now after this, autocratic and democratic. So the existence of groups depends on who the leader is. Suppose some person is leader, then automatically the authority will be going to that person. And we have dictatorial group is characterized by the autocratic style of functioning of the leader. Thus, dictatorial group, each member knows the other person, other individual, and indirectly only through the leader. Other person will be known to the other member, to the group members will be knowing each other only through the leader. So this is autocratic, we can say. And democratic, every member will be responsible for like everybody will be given a chance to speak. And not only the leader will be the responsible person, but everybody can communicate with each other, and everybody can approach the leader with their own ideas. So such one will be, as we all know, democratic. What is democratic? So in democracy, everybody will get a chance to participate in the decision making and all. Now coming to the membership and reference groups, it is not possible on the part of a person to be member of several groups. A person may be a member of one group, but through his contact with another group, he may relate himself with it. This is called a reference group. So member of the group is a person who involves actively and participates actively in one group, but the same person may know the other group people, so that we can call it as reference group. So, but this does not always happen. He may actually be a member of a particular group, but psychologically refers himself to different group and regulate his attitudes and aspirations accordingly. So this may not be possible always. Like he may be psychologically, he may relate himself with the reference group, but he is a participant of one group. Now coming to the concept of roles, status, norms, and cohesiveness. So what are the roles? Group roles. So the concept of roles is applicable to all employees within an organization as well as to their life outside the organization. A role is a set of expected behavior patterns attributed to one who occupies the position demanded by the social unit. In an organization, an employee's role is briefly indicated by a position title elaborately satisfied by a job description. So, one particular person will have a prescribed role in any organization. So, that will be the group role for that person. And task oriented roles also we see, and relationship oriented roles also we see, individual roles also we see. As an individual, he may play different roles in the group. In group, he will have one position, that role, and with each and every person he will have a relationship, that role, and task regarding the task also he will have a role. That is one type. And individual, what as a person, what he is, what is his role as an individual, that also will be discussed under this. Now, now coming to the relationship oriented roles that classify a person according to the measure of individual effort put in the project aimed is known as individual roles or blocking roles. So five types of individuals fall into these roles: aggressor, blocker, dominator, cavalier, and avoidance. Aggressor is the one who leads or attacks the ideas and acts aggressively towards the other group. The one person who will be a little aggressive or tells negative points, or the he who will describe very aggressively the about the other points of the people, other people's points of other groups. So playing desert survival is the greatest idea I have ever heard. So, for example, if we talk about the aggressor, playing desert survival is the greatest idea I have ever heard. Desert survival. We know how desert survival will be. So, such people will be like that, we can say. And blocker. The one who disagrees and rebels beyond the reason also refuses to collaborate with others' ideas. I refuse to play family swap. I refuse to play a role so and so given to me. So blocker, who never agrees with anybody. And dominator, one who insists superiority to manipulate and dominate group speaking. The person who dominates the other people's speaking and ideas. And help seeker, uh, always some person will be neglecting his own duty and will be seeking the help of the other people. I don't think, I don't think that I can put together a summary. Why don't you do it for me? He will be depending on others. So loafer refrains framework. For example, why don't we just go have a coffee instead of finishing the task or the project? Who will be uh, searching for other reasons to escape from the work? And special interest advocate presents own viewpoint and requirements. For example, I can't meet today. I need to sleep early and call my mom. So examples of such people. Special interest advocate who will be having his personal interest and will be escaping that. And then self confessor. I really like a tea. Yesterday I went to CCD. Their coffee is better than what you get elsewhere. So he will be talking about the topics important to self, not the group. So self confessor, cavalier, the one who takes part in the group non-productively. Like there won't be any meaning of the work, but he will be taking part. Avoidance, the one who shows special interest to avoid task. Any of his personal interest he'll be showing and avoid the task. So these are the things that we need to discuss about the relationship oriented roles, how the relationships will be different in the groups. Coming to the status. Status is also one of the characteristics of a group. Uh, it accesses the worth and respect accorded to an individual by their fellow members. A member's status may be derived from their standing within the group as well as their position within the organization. A manager will be perceived to have a higher status than one of her employees. For example, status is defined as a social ranking within the group and is assigned to an individual on the basis of position in the group or individual characteristics. So status, like in any organization, the manager is having a superior status when compared to the employee. So types of status, formal and are achieved. The hierarchical positions which they get in the form of promotion or maybe the positions, because of that they will get the status that is called formal or achieved status. And then we have informal or ascribed. Status may be informally acquired, but such characteristics as education, age, gender, skill, experience, and all. So many people, without having the position or without having any managerial or supervisor position, also they may expect that they may have the status based on their age, based on their experience, or based on their uh, gender also sometimes, skill also sometimes. So all such may be there. And status equity, maintaining status hierarchy is equitable manner is essential to keep the moral of the employees. When inequity is perceived, it creates disequilibrium that results in various types of corrective behavior. Status equity, if it is not satisfying the person in a status orient, then there may be disagreement or disequilibrium may occur in the employees, and that may lead to improper functioning of the employees, and which may lead to the uh, lower productivity, we can say, in the organization. Status and culture, different cultures assign different weightings to the status. French people are highly status or conscious than Latin Americans. So based on the culture also, sometimes their status, some people will give lot of priority for the status, and some they may not take it consider much important. And coming to the norms, with the formation of group structure, group norms begin to emerge, which direct and regulate the behavior of the individual member of the group. These norms or values and standards are fixed for the members of the group. So, according to Hackman, norms have the following characteristics. Norms summarize and simplify group influence process, and norms apply only to behavior, not to private thoughts and feelings. Only for the behavior they are applied, not for the emotions. And norms are usually developed gradually, but the process can be shortened if members so desire. Not all norms apply to everyone. Everybody cannot be applied with all the rules and regulations. High status members often enjoy a little more freedom when compared to the lower level employees. According to McGrath, group norms include the frame of reference for viewing relevant objects, prescribed right attitudes and behaviors towards the objects, effective feelings about the rightness of these attitudes, and tolerance of norm violation. Types of norms. Now, what are the types of the norms? Means rules and regulations. There are certain types. Performance related norms will be there, where group works typically provide their members with explicit cues on how hard work they should do. So, for example, team leader puts various posters in the firm to motivate employees to work efficiently and give their best performance. So, performance related little, it may not be exactly said as rules and regulations, but to motivate the employees under him, or the subordinate under him, the managers may use such tricks, we can say. So, appearance factors, formal appearance or the dress codes may lead a little, it may look like a little rules and regulations. So we cannot go for a project meeting, project by wearing something like a traditional wear or any classical look, or maybe bridal gown, something like that. So dress is also one of the norm we can say allocation of resources. This norm focuses on the allocation of resources in a business surrounding. This may include raw materials as well as working overtime or any other resource found or needed within the organization. For example, if the client needs the project by tomorrow, anyhow we have to complete that by doing overtime also. Social arrangement norms. Certain norms like they are not laid or paid down earlier when the group formed, but when the time and situation comes, they have to follow certain norms. Such ones will be the allocation of resources. And then social arrangement norms. This norm is basically centered on how we should behave in social settings. For example, we cannot take our official work to the friend's wedding or birthday party. So, just for sake of completing it, we cannot do all such things. So, certain social norms we have, that how we have to behave in a party and how we have to behave in the organization. All these things, they are informal norms we can say, which a person by the situation they have to follow. That's it. And cohesiveness, when it comes to the group, cohesiveness, the binding nature of the group members is very important in the group for achieving the task. Factors influencing the cohesiveness of the group are group size. If the group is too big, there may not be cohesiveness possible. Like if the group is short only, the work will be possibly the productive work we can say. If it is 5 or 7 members, then it will be a good number we can say. So consequences of group cohesiveness, it facilitates active participation of members, more conformity, more success, more communication will be there. So these are some of the points about the group that we have discussed. Now we can expect the questions like uh, explain the structure of groups with examples, and explain briefly the types of groups, and what are the consequences of group cohesiveness. All such questions we may expect. Now coming to the group performance, the next chapter, unit 11. A group can be defined as several individuals who come together to accomplish a particular task or goal. When important tasks need to performed quickly or effectively, we frequently create groups to accomplish them. So generally to accomplish certain tasks, sometimes quickly they are needed, sometimes they are needed to be very perfect. The task has to be very perfect and very productive. Then the people will form the group to complete the task. Factors affecting the group formation. What factors will be affecting the group formation means we all often work in groups. Some of these groups are informal. For example, a group of students preparing for an exam. Other maybe less formal groups we have, like for example a work team on the production line, a personal selection committee, or a sports team. Thus work in groups is an essential part of our society, whereas in some cases groups are indispensable to perform a specific task. You can only play volleyball in a team, that's all. So even though group forms, but the task will be limited. In many other cases, groups are used because we expect them to raise performance on specific tasks. For example, personal selection might also be carried out by a single person, but we often believe that a group of people will make the better selection. So for selecting a certain thing, any idea for any project, let us say. So for selection, if one individual does the selection, that may be fruitful or not, we don't know. But if it is in the group, if it is discussed in the group, definitely it will be fruitful. Generally it is a researchers have proved actually, and for a long period of time, when we observe in the centuries back, if the group of people discussed together, then obviously the project will be successful. And we have to find out like what type of groups are there. uh, Homogeneity, group composition, it consists of kind of individuals that make a group Group composition plays important role in affecting group performance. Group composition affects assignment of roles to groups, members, quality of group leadership, group satisfaction, etc. But whereas heterogeneous groups are composed of dissimilar individuals, homogeneity is similarity in the ideology, similarity in the task performance, and similarity in many things will be there. Heterogeneous will be dissimilar, like they may be not similar in the skills and in the experience, culture, gender, education. In many things there may be difference. Homogeneity will be having the similarity in all such things. Group size also, size, as I said, small group always will be more influential or more effective in the task performance when compared to the bigger groups. So when the size increases, the communication becomes a little tough, or we can say it disperses, it decreases the intensity of the thought process when it comes into the group. And working individuals also, they start thinking that uh, the work is my part is very slow, and nobody is going to identify what if I am doing or not, or if my part is less also, nothing is going to disturb the task. There they may, the group of members may develop such thought process, and that may disturb that. So group size should be very optimum. As I said, the 5 to 7 members is a optimum size. um, Group size affects unity in group activities, formation of subgroups, interaction among group members, etc. So it affects. Now coming to the status, as we have discussed, status is defined position or rank in the group. Status may be given to an individual, group, or institution. It is socially accepted position given to a person by others. Status is something socially accepted, and it increases the position or the value of the person in the group, as it is accepted by everyone. It can be a rank or any position also. And coming to the types of status, status may be formal and informal. The formal, as we already discussed in the groups chapter, that is formal is hierarchical positions. If they get like promotion or supervisorship or any team leadership or maybe manager role, something if they get, obviously that will be the formal status for the group member. If it is informal, based on the age, based on the education, based on the skill, uh, and based on their experience, they may get the status even though they are not having any position in the group. Status and norms, as we discussed just now, that norms are the things which will guide the group, or which maintains the consistency in the group. If there is no status and no norms in the group, definitely it is going to dilute the ideology of the group. And status and equity, status should be equitable, or as otherwise it will create disequilibrium. Inequity creates incongruence, and pay and status incongruence has always caused dissatisfaction among employees. Dissatisfaction or equity, if the payment, if they feel that the work what they have performed, if the payment or the reward is less, then it leads to dissatisfaction, and finally it will be there creates a conflict in the minds of the employees. Opinion of conflict may arise. And communication structure, how the group people will communicate with each other. There are different patterns of communication, as we have circle pattern, chain pattern, wheel pattern, Y pattern, network, and star. So in the circle pattern, people will be communicating one way only. Means one person will communicate with the next person. Either a person, it will be like with the two persons, one person can communicate. The person who is superior and the person who is subordinate. Like this, it will go in a circle. Like one person will not be, the third person will not be in contact of the first person. Like that, it will go in a circle. The information will pass like a circle. All the group members All the group members can only communicate to the people who are above them or below them, like in the form of a chain command. The message flows in one direction or away, or only one way. All group members cannot communicate with the leader in circular uh, pattern of group. They do not have a role in decision making too. So this is the disadvantage of circle formation, circle pattern of the group. And then chain, even like the same like the circle pattern, chain also. Chain pattern of communication has similar problems as circle pattern. It also have. So it is one way flow of communication. In chain communication pattern, all members cannot communicate with the leader of the group like in a circle. So the leader won't even be aware what distorted message the others lower in the command got. Feedbacks can also be distorted. So the leader may not know what actually is going on in the group, whether the third person got the same instruction what has been given by the leader or not. The feedback may be distorted. And next, the wheel one. In wheel pattern, there is a leader at the center. Unlike chain and circle, the wheel pattern will have a leader for the at the center he will be, and all communication will pass through the leader. And all the other members are stand at the same level in the structure. Here, all members can communicate with the leader and vice versa. People can communicate with the leader and leader can communicate with the members of the group. So there is no distortion of information by other members of the group. While passing the message, prompt and simultaneous feedback is also encouraged in the communication pattern. Exactly the same. Prompting, we say no. Prompting means the same exactly has to be passed. Just no need to take any change or no need to make any change in that. Next, Y pattern. Y pattern will be having a leader in it, and leader will have under him small subgroups again. So each group, with each group, the leader will be discussing about that group's task, and leader will have communication with each member, different group members. Separately, they will be talking with each other, but no subgroup will be talking with the another subgroup. This is about Y group. Y group pattern will have many subgroups, we can say. And next, network. Bureaucratic organizations mostly follow this pattern of group formation. The network will be there, like everybody can communicate to the other member of the group, and everybody will have a chance of decision making. And most of the offices, that is the reason why most of the government offices are the local organizations, they will have the problem of uh, um making one proper decision to make, that will be a problem for the mm, mm, for the superior. And as everybody will have a chance to speak, there will be a little communication disturbance will be there, distortions will be there, we can say. So in a network, communication differs due to the physical proximity and organizational structures too. There will be very many layers of subordinates will be there, so many levels we see. So in this, work will be delayed, we can say. Work will be delayed in the uh, network structure, network pattern of group. The structure of the organization communication networks dictate the methods and speeds by which ideas flow among managers and employees. So in the structure of organization, communication networks dictates the methods and speeds, whether it has to go slow or fast, that will be dictated by the structure of the organization. And the last one is star communication structure. Star structure communication revolve around the central point. Each participant in the outer branches of the star communicates her message to the central authority, who then distributes the message to the other participants. For instance, a sales representative will communicate with the customer wishes to sell, wishes to the sales manager, who will then pass the message to the rest of the sales staff. The sales person will be communicating with the customer, and that information will be passed to the sales manager, and this manager will communicate with the rest of the salespersons who are doing the work in the same pattern. So in this way, the message will be passed. While the star structure maintains the clarity of the message by requiring that the message goes through a central point, it can inhibit the participants from communicating such important messages directly with each other. So, social facilitation and inhibition. Social facilitation is defined as improvement in individual performance where when working with other people rather than alone. As we in the starting of the chapter, we discussed that when the performance is compared with the individual and the group, definitely the group performance will be better than the individual performance. Yerkes and Dodson law, when applied to social facilitation, states that the mere presence of other people will enhance the performance in speed and accuracy of a well-practiced task, but will degrade the performance when it is less familiar task are given compared to their performance when alone and when it is present in the group. So in 1897, Triplet studied the effect on performance of having an audience. Triplet's experiment had a simple design. A cyclist performs very well when he is in the race, and very low performance he shows when he is doing cycling alone. So this triplet study have given lot of examples. Studies started off a revolution of studies attempting to examine the theory that people's performance is influenced by the presence of others. So, Triplett and Yerkes and Dadson, they both have studied, and they gave a report, or a research report was saying that the people, when they are in the group, they are performing well depending on the situation or the depending on the task provided to them. If they are very familiar with the task, then they will be working very well. If they are not familiar with the task, then the performance will go. If suppose if the individual is not familiar with the task and he is doing alone, then he may try a little and the performance may be increased. But when the same task which is unfamiliar with for the person, if it is done in the group, then the performance levels will be low. So, in 1924, Floyd Allport coined the term social facilitation. Allport conducted studies in which participants sat either alone or with other participants and did variety of tasks such as word association task and multiplication assessment. He found that people performed better when in a group setting than when alone for the majority of the task. So finally, we can say that even Triplet or Alport or whomever it is saying, group performance will be a little higher when compared to the individual. Then social inhibition. In 1956, Robert Jajonk was trying to figure out why some studies showed people's performance being hindered by the presence of others rather than being made more accurate. He designed an experiment that would examine the performance of someone doing a simple versus complex task. If the task is simple, then the performance will increase. If the task is complex, then the performance will reduce or lowered when it is in the group. In 1965, Robert Jazonk developed the STEM activation theory by proposing his generalized drive hypothesis for social facilitation. Jajonk's generalized drive hypothesis was the first theory that addressed why the presence of others increased performances sometimes yet decreased in other times. He gave a hypothesis based on that. So Jajonk's reasoning was based on Yerkes Dadson. This was, if the task is familiar, definitely it will improve the performance. If the task is unfamiliar, definitely it will be lowering the performance. Now next comes the cooperation in the group. So people get along with others and generally work together in ways that promote liking, sharing, and cooperation. In these situations, the interacting parties perceive that the gains made by others also improve their own chances of gaining rewards, and that their goals were compatible. So when it is when the cooperation is there, then the people will believe that their performance also will be enhanced with the cooperation, and they may get the rewards, and their rewards may increase. So psychologists have identified numerous individuals and situational factors that influence the effectiveness of cooperation across many areas of life, from the trust that people place in others to the lines they draw between us and them. Many different processes shapes cooperation. Many different like us and from that between this uh, uh, from the trust that people place in others to the lines they draw between us and them. So this shapes the cooperation, we can see. So prisoner's dilemma. In cooperation, there was one experiment done by uh, um, the the experiment was done by I'll tell the name. So there was a person who is sitting alone and will be given a task, and he will be offered a certain task, and he is told that if you make a choice of selecting something, and if you do the work, then you will be benefited, and if your choice is something other than that, then you will be benefited a little, and if your choice is totally different, then you will not be benefited anyway. So like this, there was one small experiment done. This was called as prisoner's dilemma. Let us know a little about this. Imagine that you are a participant in a social experiment. As you sit down, you are told that you will be playing a game with another person in a separate room. So you are told that you will be playing one game, and you will be playing with another person who is sitting in the separate room. So the other participant is also part of the experiment, but two of you will never meet. So you both are not going to meet. This is the condition. And in the experiment, there is the possibility that you will be awarded some money. So they are told that they will be awarded some money, but both you and your unknown partner are required to make a choice, either choose to cooperate, maximizing your combined reward. By cooperating, if you choose cooperating, you can maximize your reward. So like this, the situations were explained, and are defect means non-cooperative, and thereby maximize your individual reward. If you cooperate, then you will maximize your combined reward, means together you will get a little more, and if you decide not to cooperate, then your own single reward will be doubled. So the choice you make along with that of the other participant will result in one of the three unique outcomes to the task. So there are three different choices with which the results also will be three different ways. If you and your partner both cooperate, you will receive each $5. If you and your partner both defect, you will receive $2. Each will receive $2. However, if one partner defects and the other partner cooperates, the defector will receive 8, and while the cooperator will receive nothing. Cooperator will receive nothing and defector will receive 8. As he is not willing to cooperate, then his amount will be doubled. Remember, you and your partner cannot discuss your strategies. You cannot discuss because they are not going to meet with each other. Which would you choose? Striking out on your own promises, big rewards, but you could also lose everything also. If you choose something very good, then you may be rewarded double. And if you choose something very odd, then you may not be getting anything. So cooperating, on the other hand, offers the best benefit for the most people, but requires a high level of trust. Cooperating will be the best choice, but they need a lot of trust on other person in the group. So this was the scenario in which two people independently choose between cooperation and defection. Is known as prisoner's dilemma. This complete situation was given the name as prisoner's dilemma. So it gets its name from the situation in which two prisoners who have committed a crime and are given the opportunity, either both confess their crime and get a moderate sentence, ran out their complaints and get lesser sentence, both remain silent and avoid punishment altogether. Psychologist uses various forms of prisoner's dilemma scenario to study in self-interest and cooperation, whether framed as a monetary game or a prisoner game. The prisoner's dilemma illuminates a conflict at the core of many decisions to cooperate. It pits the motivation to maximize personal reward against the motivation to maximize gains for the group. So this was prisoner's dilemma. Um, it was how the people will choose. They wanted to study. So this was the story. And now individual differences in cooperation. Social value orientation. One key factor related to individual differences in cooperation is the extent to which people value not only their own outcomes but also the outcomes of others. Social value orientation describes people preferences when dividing important resources between themselves and others. So a person might, for example, generally be competitive with others, or cooperative, or self-sacrificing. People with different social values differ in the importance they place on their own positive outcomes relative to the outcomes of others. For example, you might give your friend gas money because she drives you to school, even though that means you will have less spending money for the weekend. In this example, you are demonstrating a cooperative orientation. So social value orientation is how you choose to be, how you want to be uh, with the people around you, whether you want to be cooperative or you want to stick for your own benefits. This is what social value orientation means. So differences in each individual will be like this. Empathetic ability. Ability to feel and understand another's emotionals and experiences. When we empathize with someone else, we take on the other person's perspective, imagining the world from his perspective. So their emotions, we start looking from their point of view, not from our point of view. So we start empathizing with the people. The desire to help the partner even at a potential cost to the self. People that can experience and understand the emotions of others are better able to work with others in groups. So why we are discussing in the groups means this point, if the person is better in cooperation or better in empathy, will be a better performer in the group. Social influences of cooperation. Communication and commitment. Open communication between people is one of the best ways to promote cooperation. Openly, if they discuss what are the negatives, what are the positives, then definitely the cooperation will have a chance. This is because communication provides an opportunity to size up the trustworthiness of others. And when it comes to trust, trust is essential for cooperation between two people or in any group. If they know others in the group will support one another. If they trust, if they know, then they will support with each other. So cooperation is depending on the trust. Group identification. Another factor that which can impact cooperation is personal social identity, or the extent to which he or she identifies as a member of a particular social group. So whether he is identified in the group, uh, whether he's whether he's identified in the group as a member or not, depends on that, whether the performance will be depending on that. When people strongly identify with a group, their own well-being becomes bound to the welfare of that group, increasing their willingness to make personal sacrifices for its benefit. For the organization or for the task, if they have to do, then identification is one of the influencing factor for them. If they are identified, then they definitely will do some sacrifices also for the benefit of the group. And culture, their culture obviously will play a major role in performance of the group. When they are in the group, if they are very very with very good cultural background, definitely they will play a very good role um, in the group. Culture can have a powerful effect on people's beliefs about ways they interact with others. So there may be the conflict arising between the people in the group. Like if the people in the group, they may not agree with the ideology of the group, then there may be a conflict arising in the group. So conflicts also, it has to be managed by the manager, whether people are having the same ideology, or to explain in the group that the ideology is for the benefit of the group. So it will be remaining in the hands of the manager whether the conflict is arising, and what he is going to maintain, or what he is going to do in the time of conflict, how he is able to manage the conflict, that is there in the hands of the manager. So we can expect the questions like, explain the status and norms. We can expect the questions like conflict in the group, how do you explain the conflict in the group, how do you or discuss the conflict in the group, discuss the different patterns of communication structure in groups with examples. Such questions we may expect uh, in this chapter. So with this, we have completed almost 11 chapters. So that's all for today. Hope we'll meet soon. Thank you.